This next story is one of the reasons that I do this show, because I love to find things like this out and share it with you guys, so you understand how politics in our world really works and how our government really works. It's a fantastic article from Time magazine. Now, from time to time we get on the old media for getting pressured, et cetera, but from time to time they do fantastic journalism. I'm going to put this on our Twitter account, a link to it so you can read it yourself. Now, that's where I was getting that statistic from the last segment. So let me clarify that one for you first. This story is about the drug industries and the biotech industries and what they call biologics. Those are a new kind of medicine that is not your traditional chemical-based pharmaceuticals, and they cost more, right? Now, there's going to be ups and downs of that. First, how much money do they spend on Congress? It's a stunning amount. Just these drug companies, not the other parts of the healthcare industry, just the drug companies. First of all, they have 1,228 lobbyists. That is 2.3 lobbyists for every member of Congress. So every member of Congress gets 2.3 lobbyists, just drug company lobbyists, that are chasing them around and giving them money. Do you know how much money that they have spent in the first 6 months of just this year lobbying Congress? $110 million. That is the equivalent of $609,000 every single day. Now, if you actually saw that with your own eyes, you couldn't believe it, right? If every day they drove up with a truck and dumped $609,000 in cash in front of the Capitol steps and left, you'd say, oh my God, this is obviously organized bribery. This is insanity, right? But they do it and they write checks and nobody notices. Now, the perfect example of that was inside Henry Waxman's committee in the House, they're going to have a vote on how long they get to keep their patents and their monopolies. Okay, so now this is important. What it means, what happens in the drug industry is they say, look, in order for us to have an incentive to spend a lot of money to come up with innovation, if we come up with something that's breakthrough, we need a certain period of years where you can't have generic drugs competing with us, that we need to make money off that drug so that it makes sense to do that kind of investment in innovation. That is totally true. That makes sense. That's right. And we've gotten great breakthroughs in science because of that, right? But what Waxman did back in the 1980s, actually, believe it or not, with Orrin Hatch of all people, very conservative Republican from Utah, was they said, all right, look, you're going to make a tremendous amount of money from your monopoly, but we're going to cap your monopoly on your patent for 5 years. And after 5 years, generic drugs get to compete with you. So it's, I think, probably a pretty good balance between we want to reward you so that you wind up doing this innovation, but we don't want to let you just keep overcharging the American people forever and make obscene profits when we can have generic drugs that cost a lot less because that money's coming out of our pockets. Remember that, right? In fact, these biologics drugs cost 20 times traditional drugs, so it's very, very expensive. When in the 80s they got that passed for regular drugs, for regular prescription drugs, they argued, Waxman and Hatch did, and give credit to Hatch here. He was back then, look at that, not working with the industry and actually looking out for the American people. And they've gotten bought by lobbyists more and more as the years have gone by. They claimed that they were going to save $1 billion through doing this. It turns out they saved $734 billion. Now, if they had said, oh, no, you get to keep your patents for longer, those are hundreds of billions of dollars that would have come out of our pocket and into the pockets of the drug companies. Now, we want some of that going over there to encourage them to spend on innovation. I've said that 3 times now, right? So what's the right balance? That's the question at hand. So now for these new kind of drugs that come from the biotech companies, Henry Waxman suggested 5 years again. Makes sense, right? That worked before. It's the right balance, in his opinion and the opinion of many others. So he suggests that in his own committee, which he's the chairman of, so he's the good guy here. And Democrat Anna Eshoo says, no. Let's have a vote on this because we think they should get a longer monopoly. They should have their monopoly for a longer period of years. You know what she wants? Originally, the drug companies asked for 10 years. They're like, let's double it. Let's go crazy. Let's try for 10 years, right? No. The bought-out congressmen in this case were like, we can do better. Let's give you 12. And the drug company's like, really? Can we get 12? That's fantastic. Yeah, 12. No, we insist on 12. It's got to be 12. Now, I think the Obama White House, I can live with their compromise here. They're pushing for 7 years. All right, look, I don't love it. I prefer 5 years, but it's a balancing act. I can live with 7 years. 12 years is outrageous. It's highway robbery, okay? Because all those years we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars out of our pocket into drug companies when they've already made a gigantic profit, and the market has already rewarded them for their innovations, okay? So what happened? And Henry Waxman realized he's going to lose because all these people are bought. He's just put $110 million in the last 6 months. You think they didn't buy them? They bought them, right? So he says, all right, we'll do just a voice vote and get it over with. And this is critical part. I love this part. Congressman or Congresswoman Eshoo says, no, I demand a roll call vote. That's where everybody has to go on the record. You know why? It's because the drug companies told her to do that because they want to know, did I get my money's worth? Now, if I paid you, Congressman, I want to make sure you're on the record. Okay? So they do a roll call vote. You know what the vote was? 47-11 in that committee. A crushing victory for the drug companies. And they were all, and because once they saw it was going to pass, all the congressmen were like, oh yeah, me too, I'm on your side. Pay me. I'm on your side, right? So they all got paid. Now get a load of how brazen they are. Jim Greenwood, a former Republican congressman from Pennsylvania, now heads the Biotechnology Industry Organization, so one of their top lobbyists. Quote, we've done very well. We carried a majority of the Democrats and a majority of the Republicans in each of the committees, and by very clear margins. When the head of the lobbyists for that group says we've done very well, that means you just took it in the can. That means the United States citizens are going to pay so much you have no idea, you poor schmucks. And that's how politics works. They got bought, they sold out, Waxman gave it a shot, he got bulldozed, and this is a small part of the healthcare thing. Is anybody talking about this? No. That's part of the package. They threw it into the House version, which is supposed to be the stronger version. So, of course, the Senate's going to agree to it. Similar thing happened in the Health Committee. Somebody objected, got bulldozed. That's the Senate side, easily. Oh, you know one of the guys who's in favor of it on the Senate side, rest his soul now? Ted Kennedy, because one of the top biotech companies in the country is in Massachusetts. They gave $5 million to a charity of Ted Kennedy's, twice more than any other organization gave that charity. He's got his, company in his own home state. He's taking the money, et cetera, et cetera. And back when he was alive, he was like, we're not even having a debate. It's over. Yeah, that's the drug companies get their way here. They're going to have their patent protected for 12 long years and make a gigantic amount of money. While we're talking about nickels and dimes here, I mean, look at the money that they saved on prescription bills. Oh, you know what? Forget that. I'll give you the exact estimates. Former Clinton administration official Robert Shapiro, he's consulted both the biologics companies and the prescription, the generic competitors. So he's consulted both. So he's as unbiased as you're going to get in this case. He thinks the generic versions of just the top 12 categories of biologics whose patents have expired or will expire soon could save Americans up to $108 billion over the next 10 years. How about over the next 20 years? $378 billion. While we're fighting over nickels and dimes, they easily took a couple of $100 billion home. Best investment you can make in America is buying your local congressman or senator. Buy them, put them in your back pocket, and they'll deliver you a 100-fold return on investment. All right, that's how politics works. Now, funny enough, look, we gave credit to Orrin Hatch there for what he did back in 1984. Since then, he's been nothing but an absolute sellout. Not since 84, but developing. And now he's full-blown sold out. And it happens to all of them. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant to talk about Howard Dean in that story. That's an excellent example. Howard Dean thinks that it should be 12 years. He says, no, it's my expert opinion as a doctor. Not true. he's also been hired by the lobbyists, by the drug companies. His former advisor, Joe Trippi, has written a blog about how it has to be 12 years, and that makes perfect sense. What he didn't tell you is the top lobby for the biologics companies created 2 web campaigns, and the man they hired was Joe Trippi, of course. Now, Howard Dean says, I wouldn't do this if I didn't believe it. Sure, but you know what? If you're taking money from them, and he's consulting for a law firm that has a deep roster of biologics clients, I don't trust you. You'll excuse me if I don't trust you if you're getting paid by the guys you tell me need to make a hell of a lot more money. Okay? You got to earn our trust every single day, and that is not the way to earn it. All right. So, and look, that's how people get corrupted. And my guess is if you ask Howard Dean and Joe Trippi, they really, in their heart of hearts, and they think in their mind of minds, and I'm giving them a huge benefit of the doubt here, maybe I shouldn't, right? They probably think, oh, no, I really do believe it. Well, when somebody pays you a lot of money to believe it, you wind up kind of believing it. It might happen to me too, and I'm on the lookout, okay? So, and you should be on the lookout. Look at where people are getting paid and what their motivations are. Now, as it stands, we get paid by you guys, the members of our website and our show, and so you're our main constituency. You own our ass. So my job is to get you the truth as best as I can. Otherwise, you'll fire me.